Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is Keith with Less Magic, More Gathering. And we got a day one deck for you. This thing is rocking. I submitted this to, I don't know if you guys have heard of them or watched them. If you haven't, I recommend it. They're good streamers. MTG Arena Meta. I'll try and put a link down there in the description to their YouTube channel. They're also on Twitch. But when Wizards did the special streamer event the day before the servers for Arena came back online, I submitted this deck to them. They tried it out. They had really good luck with it. They passed it off to a couple other streamers, and they tried it, and everybody said it was awesome. It was competing with the best decks in the format. So I'm pretty proud of this one. It's one that I've been kind of talking about in some other videos. It's the Izzet Drake's deck. So we're going to look at this thing. It's really simple to put together. There's not a lot of cards that are crazy expensive or anything. So it should be an easy deck to put together, and it is competitive. It is a good deck, and I'm sure that there's some minor little tweaks here and there that you could do that may make it better. There's one specifically that before the recording of this video, I didn't get to change the slide, so I'm going to tell you about it when we get there. It's just 2 cards, and I'm actually going to put in a card that will be cheaper than the one that I've got on the video. So, that being said, let's get into Izzet Drakes. We're going to start out by taking a look here at the creatures in the deck. Only 12 creatures, 4 copies of 3 different ones. So the first one is going to be Crackling Drake. This is a new one from Guilds of Ravnica. Awesome art on this thing. I don't know if you guys have taken a close look at it, but it is very cool. It's 2 blues and 2 reds for a star, an asterisk 4, and its power is equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. And then when it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. That's one thing that's really good about this deck, is there's lots of good card draw in here, so you're going to always be able to keep your hand full. I actually got on Arena, built the deck, and have been playing it, and you never have a problem with running out of cards, so it's really good. That's always been, I think, the biggest problem when I've tried to build one of these Drake decks, is I couldn't keep cards in my hand, so it just kind of fizzled at the end, but this one doesn't have that problem. So first creature, Crackling Drake, draws you a card, and it gets big quick. You'll see. You'll see. Just hang on tight. Next one is its counterpart, the Enigma Drake, originally from, I believe, Amonkhet, but reprinted in M19. So it's good to have it back. It's a very effective card in this deck. This card will kind of gain and lose power depending on where your instants and sorceries are. We've got some jumpstart cards in here. So its power may go up when you cast spells the first time, and then it'll drop back down when you use the jumpstart ability. But that's the nice thing about the other Drake, is that its power is equal to the card instant and sorceries in your graveyard and in exile, so it benefits from both. So that's really good. But Enigma Drake's a good blocker. It doesn't die to lightning strikes. That's a big thing. It doesn't die to shock or lightning strike. Obviously, it's going to die to cast down and murder and things like that, but you're going to get those removal spells. Either you're going to be able to counter them or get them out of your opponent's hand, whatever the case may be at the time. So Enigma Drake is the second creature. The third is 4 copies of the Goblin Electromancer. This is another reprint that's in Guilds of Ravnica. It's a common, 1 blue and 1 red for a 2/2, so it's a bear, 2/2 for 2. And then it also is going to make all your instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast. And that also includes your jump starts, because you're casting those by paying that cost, so it does reduce that as well. So pretty cool. It's going to help you pump out a lot of spells. And the card that I said I replaced benefits from being able to pump out a bunch of spells, but we'll get there in a second. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these instants that we've been blabbering about. First off, real basic. Couple copies of Shock. Only running 2 because we get a lot more benefit from things like Lightning Strike, and we've got some other direct damage abilities that we're going to put in the deck. So Shock, we only ran 2, and if we've got our Goblin Electromancer out there, then our Lightning Strikes become Lightning Bolts, so that's good. So only 2 Shocks. Next, I said we had Lightning Strikes. We got 4 copies of Lightning Strike. This is going to allow you to I don't know if I told you at the beginning of the video, but this is a sick Saturday. Man, I've been battling something, so bear with me. I'm sorry about that. 4 copies of Lightning Strike. It's going to allow you to, hit your opponent directly in their face if you need to finish off a game. Or it can help you in the early game to kind of get some creatures out of the way if you need to. Whatever the case may be, hit a planeswalker. Whatever you need it for. It's very versatile and handy. Everybody knows Lightning Strike, though. I don't need to talk too much about it. Moving right along, we've got 4 copies of Opt. This is part of that card draw that I was talking about, and it's a cheap spell. 1 blue lets you scry 1, draw a card. Everybody knows Opt, too, so we're not going to spend any more time on it. Next, we've got Radical Idea. This is one of the new Guilds of Ravnica Jumpstart cards. Cost 2, only 1 if you've got your Goblin out there. But for 2, draw a card, and then you can pay 2 more, discard a card, and cast it again. So it provides good card draw at an efficient rate. Next, we've got 4 copies of Blink of an Eye. This is in the early game, going to help you get rid of some threats so that maybe you can counter them on their second cast, and it's also going to allow you to draw some cards in the late game once you've got the extra mana, and being able to do it at instant speed is really nice. We got 4 copies of Ionize. This is our main counter spell in the deck. It's a blue, a red, and 1 other, or if you've got your Goblin out there, it's only a blue and a red, so that's nice. Any 2-cost counter any spells, those are always good. So being able to do that is nice. Ionize is, it says counter target spell, and it deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. So it's kind of a combination of a counter spell and a shock, and you're getting really good value out of that if you can cast it for only 1 red and 1 blue. And next we've got 4 copies of Risk Factor. I think this is going to be a really popular card in a lot of decks that are running red. I think every single time I've played this, my opponent's taken 4, and then probably in the end turned around and regretted that decision, because 4 damage is a lot. I mean, that's 20% of your life total. So being able to hit somebody for 20% of their life in 1 spell is good, and if they don't take the damage, then you get to draw 3 cards, and you can jumpstart this. So, lots of good interaction with this card, whether it's the drawing of the cards or dealing the damage. We don't care either way. It's nice to have both options on there. And the fact that you let them choose is normally a bad thing, but it really works out well most of the time. So I like it. I'd watch out for this card. Next, we're going to look at the enchantments. This is not in the deck anymore. You could run it, 1,000-Year Storm. It's too expensive, really. I think that the cost is probably suiting of the spell. 6 is not bad for this spell. It's just that it's not efficient like we want it to be in this particular deck. So I replaced it with Gravitic Punch, which is a 4-drop. Target creature deals damage, or target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target player. So, Gravitic Punch makes it so that when you pump up your Drakes, you get them up to 6, 7, 8, 9 4s. You can either swing in with those, or you can use Gravitic Punch to just automatically deal that damage without having to tap them if you need blockers. Most of the time, though, once you get to that point, you're going to be able to swing with, 2 or even 3 Drakes, and then use your Gravitic Punch in your second main phase to finish off the game. So, 1,000-Year Storm is probably an okay spell. It's just not what we're looking for in this deck. So we replaced it with 2 copies of Gravitic Punch. So, all that being said, we're going to look at the land base here, and I tried switching this up a couple times, and it always came back to exactly where I had it. You could, maybe in the sideboard, throw in some things like Detection Tower if you're running up against, whatever the green horse is, the one that's hexproof, or any other hexproof creatures. You could throw in some other lands, whatever you need based on your current meta and what you're playing against. But this is the basic lands. They're not all basic lands, but this is the basic land package that's going to work well for this deck. We got 7 islands. Look at this art. This is, I haven't seen these. I haven't read about them or anything. I just found them when I was searching for cards. But apparently this is out of the guild kits, and this is awesome. Look at that. Just soak it in. I normally don't take up very much time on basic lands, but look at that. That is BA. I wish they would have found a way to make it so that the water drop right down here was kind of translucent. You could still see the rest of the art down here. That would have been cool, but it does look really good. Same thing with the mountains. We've got 7 mountains as well, and that is definitely not a mountain, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful. So we don't really care. 7 of those, 7 mountains as well. And then we're running 4 copies of Steam Vent. Shocklands are back. Woohoo! Most of the time you just let this come in tapped, but there are instances when you want it to come in untapped, so it's good to have that option. And then finally, we've got 4 copies of Sulfur Falls. This one, 95% of the time comes in untapped. I'm so sick. But yeah, so that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there are any specific changes that you think might make it better. Like I said, I've played it, I don't know, 5 or 6 games on Arena, and I've won all but one, and I think that was just because I kept a really bad hand. So it plays really well. It's competitive against most everything it's been put up against. So try it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know how it does for you, and hopefully you can show up on day 1, Friday Night Magic, and use this and wreck some people at your local game store. So let me know how it works out for you. We'd love to get some feedback. This is definitely probably, I said definitely probably. That doesn't make any sense, does it? I'm going to say this is definitely the most competitive deck that we've ever done a deck tech for. So hopefully enjoy it. Like I said, there's some other imitators out there, but I was the originator. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't believe me, go ask your friends. So hopefully you like the deck. We'll see you next time. Deuces. Hey, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go down below and find that subscribe button. Press it and the notification bell so that you'll know when we post new videos. If you've got some feedback, follow that arrow to the comment section and let us know what you think. See you next time.